Microsoft's been making some big moves in the video game industry lately. The company is offering crazy amounts of value with its Game Pass service, which has done wonders for its reputation. Once more, Sony's been using some wild tactics to derail Xbox. And get this, Microsoft just accused their rivals of paying developers to stay off Game Pass. Here's everything you need to know about this crazy new development in the console wars. Firstly, let's talk about how we got here. These two corporations have been at each other's throats for decades at this point. Ever since Microsoft unveiled their plans to enter the gaming industry in 2001, they've been competing with Sony for dominance. Now, PlayStation's had the upper hand since the PS4 and Xbox One generation of consoles, but things are starting to shift in the other direction. That's because the American software giant has shaken up its strategy in a big way. The new direction has been making waves in the video game space, and it's got the Japanese company worried. We're talking, of course, about Game Pass. Now, one of the biggest factors in the console wars so far has been exclusivity. If you're a gamer, you'll know that Sony has the best exclusive titles on their platform. Microsoft, on the other hand, doesn't have anywhere near the level of quality that their rival does. Sure, they put out a Halo and Gears game every now and then, but that's about it. And at this point, they've decided to shift focus. They're throwing money at their subscription service to get a lead on their competitors. And guess what? It's working. Microsoft's been pushing hard to get as many subscribers as possible for Game Pass. They're putting all their games directly onto the service to make that happen. Now, keeping this project going takes a lot of money, and it's the kind of dough only a billion-dollar company can afford to put up. Sony's trying to revamp PlayStation Plus right now, but they don't have the type of capital their competition does. Think about it. Xbox is going to put blockbusters like Starfield on their subscription service as soon as they come out. PlayStation would never do that for their own exclusives. They just can't afford to. That's why they're employing some unconventional tactics to take on Microsoft. Get this, the American corporation has accused its Japanese rival of paying publishers to stay away from Game Pass. They made the claims in documents submitted to regulators in Brazil. The company has been trying to get its multi-billion-dollar purchase of Activision Blizzard off the ground, and the documentation has given us a bunch of juicy secrets. According to the papers, Microsoft is having trouble getting more games on Game Pass. Why? Well, they say Sony's been getting in the way. Things are pretty tense between the two console giants right now. Sony's been objecting to the acquisition because they think it's anti-competitive and unfair for other companies. That's because Activision Blizzard is one of the biggest publishers in the world, with franchises like Call of Duty and World of Warcraft under its belt. The folks at PlayStation don't like seeing their competitor take over a major gaming corporation, which is why they've been trying to poke holes in the deal. And that's where this news comes in. Microsoft just released some pretty shocking details to level the playing field. According to Xbox's lawyers, Sony apparently pays developers for blocking rights to keep their products off subscription services. That's right, they're not paying for exclusivity, they're paying to maintain the status quo. Now, the documents don't list any specific titles or studios, so we don't know who's getting paid to stay off Game Pass. We also don't know how much they're getting paid. PlayStation is famous for time exclusivity deals though, so these agreements are probably a lot like that, and it sounds like they're working. Microsoft says the interventions are damaging the expansion plans for Game Pass, and that's actually what Sony's been after for a while at this point. The executives at the company are against subscription services that get day one releases. They don't think that kind of release plan is the way forward for the industry, and they might just have a point there. The whole thing is one of the biggest debates in gaming right now, and tons of people are weighing in on the issue. In fact, some of the industry's biggest names disapprove of where things are going. Jim Ryan, the president and CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment, has said in the past that subscription services like Game Pass are totally unsustainable. He thinks Microsoft can only pay for it because they have that Windows money rolling in. And he's not the only one who's skeptical about Xbox's plans. Strauss Zelnick, the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, has said that new games shouldn't launch on subscription services. He thinks that'll only end up losing the devs money and causing a ton of problems down the line. Microsoft's claims are pretty mind-blowing too. They've apparently grown the service to 25 million subscribers, and that was just the number they put out in January of this year. Their player count is probably even higher now, and that's honestly pretty promising. Now, video games are getting more difficult to make every day, which means the production costs are getting higher and higher. Microsoft is actually going in the opposite direction by making AAA titles cheaper than ever on Game Pass. It's a crossroads for the video game industry, and both sides think they're right. That's why the whole blocking rights situation is such big news. Traditionally, Xbox and PlayStation go into bidding wars to claim game rights. What's more, this is the first time Sony's done something like this. Sure, PlayStation has always been against helping its competition, but this is a pretty weird move for them to make. Paying developers more money to stay off Game Pass than Microsoft is paying them to get on it is honestly insane, and we're not sure how it'll work out for them. From the consumer perspective, it's completely out of line. Players on PS Plus aren't gaining anything from these blocking deals. Sony's only hurting gamers on their rival service, and that's a pretty mean approach to business. It's a sign that the company really doesn't want Game Pass to succeed, and Microsoft wants the regulators to see that. They're trying to prove that Sony doesn't have honest reasons for objecting to the Activision deal. And considering the kind of moves PlayStation is making, that makes a lot of sense. We'll just have to wait and see how things develop. With the accusations covered, here's some other news about what Xbox is up to. Firstly, they're upgrading Game Pass Ultimate for streamers. Subscribers will soon be able to stream games that aren't even on the service. This development is a result of Microsoft's efforts to expand cloud gaming. That's a system that allows users to stream video games onto their consoles. Microsoft actually revealed its plans to incorporate this feature back in 2019. At their X019, they announced that users would be able to stream games that they own by 2020. Now, we're way past that release window, but Xbox employee Will Tuttle just came out with some good news. He says that the long-awaited feature will be available later this year. Microsoft's raising the bar when it comes to cloud gaming, and we can't wait to see the results. They'd better get a move on though. It's already August, so the company has only a few more months to fulfill its promises. Next up, it looks like Elden Ring isn't coming to Game Pass after all. From Software's latest masterpiece isn't coming to the subscription service anytime soon. As it turns out, the whole thing was just a false alarm. It got fans really excited though, so the news is kind of a bummer. Players reported seeing major video games like Elden Ring, GTA 5, and Soul Hackers 2 as part of Game Pass on August 11th. They thought it was a leak of what's in store, but that's unfortunately not the case. Microsoft has come out to say that it was only a bug and that they're issuing a fix to resolve the problem. To be honest, Elden Ring probably won't come to the service anytime soon. The RPG is one of the biggest games around, and the devs probably want to make as much money on it as possible before putting it on Game Pass. Let's hope they do in the future though, because a bunch of people would be able to play it. And finally, Microsoft is making some big claims about Call of Duty. We know that the company is probably taking over the franchise soon, but fans have been wondering what their plans are for the FPS shooter. PlayStation fans were afraid they'd make Call of Duty an Xbox exclusive title, but it looks like that's not the case. Microsoft says that they have no plans to make Call of Duty a console exclusive. According to the same documents we talked about earlier, console exclusivity wouldn't make sense for the corporation. Call of Duty is obviously a mega seller, and they want to keep it that way. They also say that such a decision would only be profitable if it could attract enough gamers to the Xbox system. The legal docs even mention Sony by name, probably to pacify the PlayStation fanbase. Still, seeing as how Bethesda games are going exclusive exclusive, we'll probably see a few Activision titles getting the same treatment down the line. That's a wrap for this video. Do you think Game Pass is a sustainable way to release games? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.